What if loneliness has nothing to do with being alone? Think about the moments you expected loneliness to disappear. The friendship, the relationship, the conversation that lasted until midnight, the crowded room, the family dinner, the messages waiting on your phone. All the evidence suggested the feeling should be gone. And yet some nights you still went home carrying the same quiet weight, not because people rejected you, not because nobody cared, but because somehow the presence of people failed to touch the place that felt empty. That creates a strange question. If loneliness is caused by the absence of people, why does it survive their presence? Why can someone spend an entire day talking and still feel untouched when the room becomes quiet? Most people never ask this question deeply enough, because they assume loneliness is simple. They assume loneliness is a lack of company, a lack of attention, a lack of connection. But what if loneliness is not the absence of people? What if it is the absence of contact, not physical contact, not social contact, something deeper? Because there is a difference between being surrounded and being reached, and many people spend years confusing the two. You can be seen without being known. You can be included without being understood. You can be loved while remaining emotionally invisible. The world teaches us to measure connection externally. How many friends? How many conversations? How many people care? But loneliness does not measure those things. Loneliness measures distance, not distance between bodies, distance between realities, the distance between what you experience internally and whatever reaches another human being. That distance can exist inside a crowded room. It can exist inside friendships. Sometimes it can exist inside relationships that appear perfectly healthy from the outside, because understanding is far rarer than proximity. People can know your face for years and never encounter your inner life. They know what you do, not what you carry. They know your routines, not your private fears. They know your personality, not the thoughts you never translate into words. And slowly a strange thing begins happening. You become visible but not known, recognized but not reached, present but untouched. And that particular loneliness feels different, because there is nobody obvious to blame. No dramatic absence, no clear rejection, only the growing realization that most interactions never travel deep enough to find the person underneath them. Then something even stranger happens. You begin helping the loneliness survive, not intentionally, automatically, because every environment teaches adaptation. Every room teaches you which parts of yourself belong there, which emotions create comfort, which reactions create tension, which truths are easier left unspoken. And slowly you become fluent in translation. You adjust, edit, reduce, not because you are dishonest, because you are human, because connection matters, because belonging matters. Because acceptance feels safer than exposure. The problem is that eventually people stop meeting you directly. They begin meeting the version designed to move smoothly through the world, the manageable version, the understandable version, the version least likely to disrupt expectations. And the tragedy is that this version often works. People respond well to it. Life becomes easier. Relationships remain stable. Conflict decreases. Everything appears successful, except for one thing: the loneliness remains, because the person receiving the connection is not fully the person who needs it. The performance receives the recognition. The deeper self remains waiting. And many people spend years trying to solve this loneliness by gathering more people, more friendships, more conversations, more activity, without realizing the problem was never quantity. The problem was contact, real contact, the kind that requires risk, the kind that requires honesty, the kind that allows another human being to encounter something unedited. That is why certain conversations feel unforgettable, not because they were entertaining, because for a few moments the translation stopped. You stopped performing, they stopped performing, and something real entered the room. Most people remember those moments for years. Because genuine contact is rare, far rarer than social interaction, far rarer than attention, far rarer than approval. And maybe that is why loneliness survives human contact, because loneliness was never counting people. It was measuring something else entirely: the distance between what is visible and what is true, the distance between the life you show and the life you actually experience, the distance between the voice speaking and the part of you hoping someone finally hears what the voice cannot say. Maybe that is why some people can spend an entire day surrounded by others and still feel alone when night arrives, because loneliness was never asking for more human beings. It was asking for something far more difficult: to be reached, to be understood, to be encountered without translation. And until that happens, even a crowded room can feel strangely empty.